Guitar rock legend Jimi Hendrix will be 75 years old this next week. And though his career and life was cut very, very short, his mark on American pop culture runs deep. Dave Berry from Sarasota Music Archives is here, and Claire Shaw, who actually knew Jimi Hendrix personally, is joining him. All right, let's start with you. Dave, tell us about Jimi's music and, why was it so unique?
Well, Jimi had a huge influence on music and rock music, knowing that he was only really in the business for a very short time. His first 3 studio albums were within a year and a half, and released all of those within a year and a half.
Wow, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, and they were so influential, they're affecting people today. I mean, when kids learn to play guitar now, they're learning to play all the Jimi Hendrix licks, and they remember him as one of the most influential guitarists of all time.
Why did you think his fame just held up so much over time? Because, again, he's about to be 75 next week if he was still alive.
That's right. Well, he was unique. He was very unique. He was very talented, and he was a unique personality, too. The way he used his guitar, he was left-handed, so he had to flip it over, and he had to reverse the strings on it. And he didn't reverse the pickups. And that gave his guitar a very unique sound also. So not only was he a unique and talented person, his sound was very unique.
Oh, Claire, he's talking very personally about him, but you knew him personally. Tell me what kind of person he was.
Jimi was awesome. He was sweet. He was so unlike his persona that it's kind of hard to put the two together, because he was just such a personable guy, and he was a jokester, and he was the opposite of his image.
How did you know him?
I was actually his cook, his personal chef, cook, and I worked for him the summer of the Woodstock Festival, and he was supposed to put a band together. He no longer had his old band that was the Jimi Hendrix Experience, and his job was to put a new band together to play the Woodstock Festival, and I was hired to get him healthy, because he had been on the road non-stop from the time the first album had come out up until then, and people just can't grasp the idea that his entire career was 4 years.
Wow.
Oh, no.
He had died in 1970, and his first album came out in 1967.
Wow, that is amazing.
Unbelievable, the impact
especially
he's had.
for that kind of
And his impact is still vibrant today.
Yeah, there's not a teenager that doesn't know his music.
Well, so tell me a little about, kind of food he liked.
Well, my job, in my opinion, was to get him healthy, was to embrace the farm-to-table movement, which was huge at that time. And luckily, it still is. Just watching this other segment of the show, that's what we're talking about right now.
So did he like fine foods and what you would say the foo-foo type foods, or more down to earth like burgers?
Okay, so when I got to the house, it was in the dead-end road. It was called the Woodstock House, but it was in Shokan, and it was kind of in the middle of nowhere. I opened the fridge, and there was a big thing of Kentucky Fried Chicken, half eaten. It was all dried out, in a bag of Aduki beans, and they had apparently had a health food chef there before me, and Jimi drove 45 miles
to go get some fast food.
So I asked him what he wanted, and he's like, well, whatever you want. He was just totally easygoing personality like that. And my take on it was, because he'd been on the road so long, that he just wants a home-cooked meal.
Yeah.
And he also was putting a band together that was quite a combination of people. There was a Puerto Rican, there were Black Americans that he knew from the Army, there was a concoction, there was British, and it was my job to kind of feed everybody. And
you were young.
Yeah, you were very young.
Oh, my
Well, I know that you're writing a book about him, so good luck with that. And you guys can get more information about a lot of huge music collections, because the Sarasota Music Archives can be seen with all kinds of genre. You can find them online or go to Sarasota Selby Library, and they have all the details there. Next, when we come back, Tracy's going to tell us about a food film event. We'll be right back.